Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Well, welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele VanDusen and June Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michele and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, it's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. We'll have a ball, with June, who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. Now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Whoa, there she is. Welcome to the two-time award-winning Live Support Podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with Michele with one L, Trisha's sister, Rhonda Colson, Corey's friend. Do not call me Shelly.
That's
no.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got it right this time. It's been a minute. The Michele VanDusen. Michele, where's the goat, Michele? Let's be excited. Do it. There it is. Michele VanDusen.
Maybe
Hey,
I should
friend.
do this time.
Michelle's playing her kazoo. Why? Kazoo can do it.
Do it.
June Colson comedy.
First
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to be back with you. You just experienced a child graduating. I have a child graduating this week. We're in graduation season. Tell us about your son and how proud you are of him. And then let me make fun of you.
So you want to make fun of me? Okay, so this past week, our son Michael, he graduated with like a master's in computer sciences. I'm gonna go with that for 500, please. Yeah. So this would be his second graduation from the same university that he started. I don't understand what they call it, undergraduate and then master's. So when he's like, yeah, well, I'm an undergraduate, like 2 years ago, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Stop saying undergraduate. It didn't make any sense to me. But so the last time we went to this thing called a hooding ceremony, where which I didn't realize was like the thing that goes
literally
over
put a hood on them. Yes.
Well, yeah, but it actually just kind of hangs off the back, so you got that V, so it's got certain colors because he was in engineering, so he graduated engineering, and then now the computer science, and because he got a master's, he got this robe, gown, whatever you want to call it, but it has these sleeves, these long sleeves on it, and I'm like, at some point, are you going to just pull out a wand? What is happening here?
Yes, and it has a wizard vibe, doesn't it? With the hood and the big sleeves.
Totally that weird vibe on it. But what was so fun is he so we're sitting there at the hooding ceremony because it's a smaller, intimate, group. And he got an award for outstanding student, blah, 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 blah. He got and then we saw in the brochure or the program that it said benediction. I'm like, oh wait, he's speaking? So like that kind of flipped me out a little bit. I'm like, wow. So of course, you're like, you're pride, you don't want to cry, you want to videotape, right? Yes. And the benediction is the prayer. So so he goes, I found out why we have these sleeves, and he pulls out a scroll that had his prayer on it, because he's always got to say something funny, which is really, so I was in charge of taking pictures, which I didn't realize we were going to talk about this one today. So I didn't give us any.
Yeah, that's okay. We can come back to it later.
Yeah. We'll come back.
I wanted to mention it.
And quick mention, and I'm talking way too long. Anyway,
so I didn't want to go past, because I know we're going to talk about some adventures I've been on.
Yes,
and, Michele, I don't want it to be all about me. So I'm not Rhonda Corey. Okay.
Another Rhonda Corey moment.
But, yes, that's Rhonda Corey comedy. And just for the record, she jokes that it is always about her. So, or is it a joke? I don't know. Michele, continue on.
I don't know, but you know what? We're just going to highlight. It's a Rhonda Corey moment. Okay.
It's a Rhonda Corey moment.
So so he spoke. So my job was, I was just taking pictures, and my husband's job was to videotape it.
Mm.
So he's got his camera up there, and he hits the button, and he's holding it the whole time, watching, holding, kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
then it was really quick, his prayer. And so he takes it down, and he's like, oh, he took a picture of the guy introducing him.
Mhm.
And he took a picture of the chair in front of us. He did not have it in video record mode.
Oh,
He had
no.
it in picture mode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
didn't even take a picture of Michael up there. He got a picture of the guy that introduced him, and then the chair in front of him. So funny, which brings me back to another story. I'm just gonna tell you real fast.
Yes, tell me.
When I first started out in comedy, this might have been within my first year or so, after meeting like Shonda Pierce and all the people from the CCA, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
She was doing a show here in Tulsa, and she gave me 5 minutes to do comedy
Right.
on her stage. So it's packed
Yeah.
out, 2,500, 3,000 women, whatever. It was like packed.
Yes.
And my friend was with me, and her job was just to videotape my set. So I would have a recording of me doing my little comedy that I knew. And she videotaped me walking up and walking down. She recorded backwards.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
So it was destined from that moment forward. I have never been able to capture a really good video of me. I haven't. I have not been able to do it.
Well, don't ask Ross to record you, because clearly and I shouldn't record you either. Last night I was trying to record something at an event, and I didn't. You know what I recorded? I recorded my hands clapping. I put the phone down in my lap, and my video was facing up, and it was just me clapping. So I'm not criticizing Ross.
I need you to post. That needs to be a reel. You need to send that out, like, when you're supposed to record the ceremony, and all you see is you.
Yes. I hope I didn't delete it. I'll look back and see if I still have it. So yeah, that was me
so
just
funny.
clapping. Well, I wanted to tease you because you were like, my son's speaking at the graduation, and then you said, "Oh, he just prayed." I'm like, "All right, Christian lady, he just prayed."
Well, I thought he was gonna, like, one of the comments that the student person before him said was in his speech was something about, they had, the computer or math, whatever this group is, the science group.
Yeah.
He said that, well, we've had discussions, whether water is wet, right? So that he said that comment, and all the graduates all giggled, because they all were in on this conversation, this debate that they've had. I was hoping and hoping and hoping that my son, one of his last things that he would have said was, "Oh, and water's wet," and like walk off. But he didn't.
Yes.
So when I mentioned it, he's like, "Oh, that would have been perfect." And then I said, "Well, what side of the debate were you on?
Right.
That is water dry or is it water wet?" He's like, "I was on wet side." I'm like, "Okay, good." Because I'm like, come on. Because he was this whole flat earth thing.
Oh.
Because it's a whole thing, and it's hilarious and it's fun. But moving on
Not
to
that
you.
you would criticize your son's speech or add some detail at the end that he should have or could have done. Not that you would criticize someone's prayer or but he is his mother's son, because of course before he prayed, he started with a joke. He brought something out, and we're super proud of him and super
very
excited for his
so.
accomplishments.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And Michelle, let's tell us where you sat at the big graduation.
Okay, so for the big graduation, we sat. So the big graduation was held in the Mabee Center, which holds thousands of people, and we sat up at the top, top. The top, last row of the entire, like the last. So it was like section 205, but the last seat, because it was packed. It was absolutely packed. And when, how so we were in my mother-in-law's car because she was coming with, so, grandma was there. And then of course I had my pocket mama. So both grandmas attended. And I got the picture.
Okay, let's explain really quickly for anybody who may be new listeners to our podcast. So your pocket mother, Michele, you just ran past that really fast, and we're going to address your pocket mama. What's a pocket mama? Is that something we can get on eBay? Is somebody selling that on Shark Tank? What is a pocket mama?
I know, you can't buy her anywhere. So my mom died and she was cremated. And when we were at the crematorium, which is not anything like the creamery, because that's like ice cream and that's delicious. The crematorium is where people, where you.
Well, how do you know your mom's not delicious?
No. And so it's not like bone broth. Stop it. Okay. So when we were there, the guy said, well, do you guys want, do all the grandkids or whatever want, like, a baggie ever? And we're like samples. And so of course my sister like, well, yeah, we want it for all the grandkids. Well, guess what? The children did not really like that for Christmas. So we have these little tiny individual packets of ashes, and then it has on there a sticker of my mom's name and when she was born and when she died, and then of course advertising for where you got these ashes.
Okay,
and
gotta advertise.
Right. And so I've been carrying her around to special places, and I'm just gonna say right now, my mom has been to church way more now than she ever did while she was alive. I'm just putting that out there.
And now she's been in the graduation at like the highest seat in the building. So
yeah,
I mean,
so close to heaven there. It was just, we were just closer. So I had her at the last graduation, brought her to this one, just big moments. Cause like when I traveled on our 12-state tour one time, I brought her with because my mom and I used to travel, and I thought it was a good way to grieve and honor her at the same time. Yeah. And so now she spends most of the time at the house. Because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know.
She's a homebody or a home dusty. I don't know. I guess you can't call her a homebody anymore.
Yeah, it's like a
it's awful.
Dust bunny. I don't know. I don't know if you're going with dust bunny. I know you were. Anyway, but this weekend will be Anthony's graduation. So we're gonna be at a different location, and I got to make sure that I pack Pocket Mama again. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about
like those something you could buy on eBay, like a Pocket Mama, like a Walkman and a Pocket Mama. Like
if only her name was Polly, because it should be Polly Pocket Mama.
Oh, that would be amazing. I was trying to find because we the Hot Breath Comedy Network, which is who started our podcast.
Yes.
Who we started our podcast with. They still do like the daily writing challenge.
Yes.
And I won the joke of the day the other day.
You did. Send that to me and we'll talk about that at our next show.
Well, no, it's applicable to this moment, to this situation. So I'll find that on the in between and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, send it to me and I can stick it up if you want. I could because I have I have a graphics card now in my computer. So now I can do fancy things like share our screen.
Yes.
Here, check this out, okay? Because you said award winning, right? So here's a little tiny video I created today. Check it. What?
That was so cute. You did that all by yourself?
I did that all by myself, and it didn't take long at all. My computer didn't do the whole circle thing. I think I'm gonna live through this process. No, it did it, and I was like, wow, it's finished already. I was surprised. So those 4 pictures that I just shared on that video, one is of course our podcast, our season 3, and then our first award that we won for season 1, our this one, our top comedy talk show, and then our second award that we just won for season 2.
Yes.
And I don't know the name of it. And then
the Edge Award. Both. Wait, no, the first one. It's an Edge Award, but the first one was for comedy show, and then this time comedy show. Maybe
this was a series, like a comedy series versus. Anyway, point is, we got 2 Edge Awards. We're very thankful to the Creative Motion Network that created us, and very sad to say that it doesn't, Creative Motion Network doesn't, you can't watch us on
Yeah.
Roku anymore right now. So you
Yeah.
can still catch us on our YouTube channel. So do that. And of course, listening to us right now. But you see, if you don't catch it, if you don't watch it, you're missing all the crazy stuff that I do
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes. And we
And
definitely want to say thank
yeah.
you to the Colliers, and we're praying for them as
Yeah.
this network they work so hard on is, been halted, and we know that they're definitely going to do some big things. And this is just a stumbling point, but not a stopping point. They'll
Yes.
continue on and do great things. So yes, and I sent you the joke just because of your mom. So I think this could be your joke instead of mine. But do you see it? Are you able to get it, Michelle?
I see it. One moment, please.
One moment with her new technology, folks. This is fantastic. So yeah, you cremated your mom. I didn't cremate mine, but this was my joke of the day. That it's competitive, y'all. Like, it's hard to win a joke of the day. Go ahead and read it, because we'll have it as your joke, Michelle.
No, you got to read it because it's yours. You won with
Okay.
this.
Okay. So I think the word of the day was what was the word of the day that day?
I don't know. I think I was asleep, so I missed it.
Permit. I think it was permit. I think so. Anyway, so my joke of the day was
stick your face out so we can see you.
He didn't,
Turn your face so we can see you.
Oh,
no, other way. There we go. Okay.
No, we can see the graphic. They don't need my face. Okay.
We need your face.
Dad said he didn't need a permit to spread my late mother's ashes where she requested, because, quote, that's the least bizarre thing that will happen at Walmart today. That one joke of the day. So
it's hilarious.
I don't do a lot of like Walmart jokes and stuff, because that's just easy territory for comedians. Like, a ton of comedians do a lot of Walmart, so it's got to be like out of the box, and you know what I mean, like literally just something unique. If you're going to do a joke that is territory that everybody's covering, then it's gotta it's gotta stand out for some reason. Okay, so like our friend Rhonda Corey has her Wizard of Walmart, her dry bar. Yes. And she does a very unique bit about Walmart. It's just different than anybody else's. So, and it's so good. Yes, another Rhonda Corey moment. So we hope to have her on in the near future. Yes.
Okay, so let's get to the comedy events that you've attended recently. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put up a picture here. Can you explain what crowd is this? Because I have to say, the stained glass windows in the background are gorgeous.
Listen, let me tell you. Okay, so I got to do a show in O'Fallon, Missouri. I worked with Lee Hardin. And so it was really cool. So there used to be a comedy club in O'Fallon, and Lee did several shows there. The first time he did a show there was a couple named Robert and Marcia. And Robert and Marcia came, saw Lee. And Robert told me, he said, when Lee was up there at this comedy club, he made a comment about being a Christian. And I thought that was really interesting. And so he approached Lee afterwards and struck up a conversation. And then he invited Lee to come to his church the next day. But Lee had got tickets to go to the Cardinals game, St. Louis Cardinals game. So I don't know. Is Lee really a Christian if Cardinals are over Christ? I'm not sure, but
I think he is. I think what was happening was, his eye is on the sparrow. So he wanted to go watch, birds to be closer to.
Way to bend that as far as you possibly could. Yeah. So anyway, the next time Lee was in town, then Robert and his wife intentionally came to the comedy club, saw that he was there, and they had reached out, made a connection with each other. And so Lee went to church with them this time, when he was there. So my understanding is they were doing, they're working on a building fund to add on to the church. And so Robert's idea was, rather than just him like donating a flat amount of money to the church, that he would help bring in a comedian because of his connection with Lee, and they would do a fundraiser show for the building fund. So yeah, just making his money work, really. And so anyway, so we went to First Baptist O'Fallon, and let me tell you, they were such a fun crowd. Yes.
Including
So
this guy with his arms that are crossed. He was
yes,
fun
you
too.
know. So okay, so let's talk about this picture. So there's a couple of empty seats, and the one person who is the closest focus to my left side is a man with his arms crossed. That is a classic comedy photograph. Every comedian who has someone, you could be killing it. And if someone, your comedic friend, snaps a picture of you, it's going to be a photograph that looks like no one was laughing. Like,
but if you notice, there's
is
another lady. There's another lady there too. There's two ladies, a guy and a lady.
Yes. Yeah.
There's
So
two.
it just depends on the moment. So anyway,
But the lady in the red right behind him, big smile. Same with the lady
and
behind
the
that,
woman
big
behind
smile.
her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's smiles all around. I love it. I actually. But
Yes.
two.
But those stained glass windows, beautiful, beautiful. And Lee and I, the next day we went to church. Like that morning, we came back and went to church before we were headed back home. And behind where the pastor is preaching, there is these huge stained glass windows. And outside those windows is a massive American flag.
Wow.
So this church has an orchestra. Are you kidding me? Like they have a little orchestra area, and I mean it is just really sweet. So anyway, you've got this beautiful music going, and then you have these giant stained glass windows with an American flag, the shadow of this flag just flying. I mean, it's beautiful. That church is beautiful. But they were so much fun. There was like 4 Brandons that worked for the church. And so it was easy to kind of make jokes about that. Here's what's really cool about Lee. We were having this conversation beforehand, and a lot of times a headliner, there are these unwritten rules and things that people say, and some headliners don't want you to mention anything in the room because it takes away from their ability to mention something in the room or whatever. But with Lee, it was really cool because I had said, hey, do you mind if I say something about this and something about that? Because an easy opener was that the very front row, that church, they had a really good size audience, but the very front row, there were only 2 people sitting there. And so I just kind of opened with like, we travel around, we're all over the country. And sometimes I have to go like, where am I at? Where am I at? But y'all, I see your front row completely empty. So I at least know I'm at a Baptist church. Yes. So, an easy little inn there. And so, so great set. The audience was wonderful. Lee was cool about like not saying, no, don't mention that. He's creative enough. Like I couldn't take everything out of the room for this guy. He's just really quick on his feet and very creative. So the audience loved Lee. It was their first time doing comedy. So so Pastor Brandon, it was kind of an experiment for them. And I mean, no pressure. If we messed it up, that means no other Christian comedian will probably ever get to come to that church again. So it's okay. It's fine.
Well, you guys were in O'Fallon. You're like middle of America. So, you're smack dab in the middle of all the different areas. So, and it's probably very rural, right? The area.
Oh, I don't know. I talked the whole ride, never paid attention. Lee drove us there, and then he drove me back home. I don't know. I think sure.
Yeah, I just have to say it is great working with Lee, because that is one of the things that I loved and appreciated about working with him is, if you come with these preconceived ideas of, you can only do a set this way, you can only do, he's like, no, who said that? You have freedom.
Yeah.
Do you? And I'm like, so it's really nice working with him, and he's so funny.
Yeah, for sure. And Andy's very serious about his craft. It's fun to be around somebody who is like really thinking about jokes. And like just on the way up there, we were talking about bits. And of course we met each other through Jeff Allen and the writing group in Nashville. And so he's seen he hasn't necessarily seen all of my material because we don't work together all the time and I'm developing stuff all the time. But even on the way there, he kind of planted a seed for just an addition to my bit about being married to a fireman. And then he was like, all the fires I've started, and now my husband became fire chief right? And so now I have like an addition, another joke that I have of like, yeah, you would think they would fire him from the fire department, but what'd they do? Made him chief, so that's just
He's bringing us business. Business went up when he married June.
That's right. They're like, we got to keep him around, and his wife. Yeah, it's job security. But yeah, so the ride was great. It was raining a little bit when we went, but it was good, safe travel. But I have to talk about. I want to talk about the family that we stayed with. They were great, but I have to talk about the experience I had after the show with a kid named Micah.
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay. So the pastor has 6 kids.
6.
And yes, he had 6 kids. And I think eventually I probably met them all separately. And then a couple of them came and hung out after the show.
Any twins in that group?
I don't think so. No, wow. I think they're all spread out. And it's like the first 2 kids, like their names start with the same letter. The second 2 kids, their names start with the same letter. And then the last 2 kids, their names start with the same letter.
So nice that they didn't name them all with the same letter. That's good.
Yeah. They mixed it up. And it's Pastor Mike, not Mark. Lee accidentally called him Mark at the end of the thing. And then, correct. And of course he corrected, and like every comedian has done that. You can say in your head, Mike, like the birds on Finding Nemo, Mike. But you're still going to say the wrong name.
Of course.
You try to say the right one, right?
Yeah. If anybody listens to this podcast, they'll know I say the wrong name and I'm reading it. So yes. There you go.
Yes. But when we went to church the next day, the guy who was speaking did a callback to Pastor Mark. And nice. So anybody who was there at the comedy show
got it.
That was fun. It was an inside joke. And that's what I was telling Pastor Brandon. I said, when you do these events at your church, they've had a common experience. And now they have inside jokes and phrases and stuff that they can mention to each other that they got by having this common experience. And sure enough, the next morning, the gentleman who was speaking that morning, who was I think he ran their school, the elementary school that the church has, and he was there to talk about the school or whatever, but he did a callback. But it was, and of course Lee laughed about it and said, it's cool when you see that, because they were paying attention and they're continuing the fun from the night before. So awesome. That was really cool. But so afterwards, this we're standing around talking, and Lee and a few men from the church were chatting, and this one cute little blonde-headed kid stands beside me, and I made some, sarcastic remark to the kid, and he laughed, and I said, "So are you one of the pastor's kiddos?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I go, "So where are you in the pack? Are you the oldest, youngest, somewhere in the middle?" And he goes, "Somewhere in the middle, like second to the oldest." So I start making jokes about how the middle kids are the best, and we're the most creative, and obviously the most good looking, and those kind of things.
Right.
This kid was hilarious. He was so smart, like academically intelligent. You I don't know what his grades are, but I can tell you the kid is smart. I don't know what it shows on his school papers, but he is very smart. So we're having this conversation, and Michele, he says to me, like, "Oh, you were so funny. That was really fun." And, I do a lot of material about my dad hot dog, all the trouble dad gets into, all that drama. And this child looks at me and says, "I'd love to know about your testimony." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah." So I know. And now an adult might come and ask you that after a church show. But this kid was like, "Yeah, your childhood sounded very interesting. I'd love to hear your testimony." And I was like, "Get out, Micah." Okay. So I shared condensed version. Yes, Michele, I can speak in condensed version.
Condensed version, the G-rated. Oh.
Yeah. So I share the condensed version of my testimony, and just kind of where I came from and what God brought me through, and how he called me to comedy after I was saved. And so I never did like unclean comedy. And like this kid connects all these dots, and he's like, "Man, yeah, because God's timing is perfect, and it probably wouldn't have been good if you were a comedian before you were saved, and you would have been honoring him." And
wait, how old is this kid?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't ask. I think 45. I think he's 45 years old. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just gonna interject right now that it's so refreshing to hear that a youth was able to connect those dots, and he's the type of kid that's gonna be help ushering in the presence of God. Okay, go ahead. All right. Carry on.
You better believe it. Okay, so it gets better. So then we're talking about like great shows, how fun the show was, and how not every show's that way. And he was like, "Yeah, how do you handle a tough show? What's that like? What's it like to have a tough show?" And I was like, "Oh, babe, yeah." I said, every time that we go on stage, we put ourselves out there, and this is our stories, and this is our comedy. We work very hard on it. Comedy is fun and silly, but it's real business. We're working hard to try to bring the best thing that we can. And when you go out there and you're telling your stories and you expose yourself and you talk and nobody laughs, and it can feel very rejecting. They don't call it bombing or dying for no reason, Micah. Like, for real, it can be tough. And you talk about humble me in a second. That boy, and he wasn't trying to humble me. He just he goes, yeah, I get it. That's kind of like sometimes my dad goes door to door just to tell people about Jesus, and I go with him. And sometimes you'll go to 5 doors and people might not be happy, or they might not even open the door. You might get rejected, but it's like when that one door opens, though, man, it's great. I go, Micah, you're preaching, son. You're preaching to me. I said, I am sharing that with my comedian friends. Wow. And the next time that I have a crowd that is no fun, I'm going to go, oh, they didn't laugh at poor June Bug's jokes. Nobody giggled. Okay, Micah's out here knocking on doors, saving souls, right? Introducing them to the one who can save their soul, right? And I did some jokes, and people didn't like them. But I'm like, you legit just changed my perspective on what I do and what it means to fail in my job, right? If you are brave enough to keep going door to door with your dad, son, I can deal with any audience who doesn't laugh at my jokes. And like, that's great, cool, okay.
The thing is, he's a middle kid. He should already be well versed in rejection. So he's the perfect guy to go out door to door.
Yeah, we have superpowers. We can become invisible because we are the middle children. Yeah. I mean, you talk about just such a cool interaction, so sweet. And then I think it was his sister, and there was maybe a couple of his brothers. We were all just like joking, laughing, being very loud and goofy while the adults were having a conversation, because adults are fun. And so
Micah sounds like an adult.
Selfies with me. Oh my gosh. I laughed so hard. They were doing weird angles and like bubble face with me and stuff. I had such a blast with the kiddos after. They were just such a fun church. And you know how sometimes you do a comedy show at a church and the youth group, like a youth pastor will be like, all the youth are sitting up front, and they're like, we're too cool for the comedian. And
that's the worst.
No, they didn't make all their youth sit up front. Obviously, as I said before, the front row was empty, but there were 3 or 4 younger girls that were to the right side of the stage, and they were just laughing and engaged the whole
that's
time.
So good.
And you just love those kind of shows. They were awesome. So anyway, I gave the kids my contact card and that kind of thing. And then later I get a message from Micah who says, your testimony really meant a lot to me, and thanks for messaging me. And then he follows it up with, I had a quick question. Was Hot Dog, has he ever been saved? And I'm happy to pray for him and pray for you. Wow. Now, I will say this. I'm speaking about the child in this situation with the permission of his dad, Pastor Mike, who was such a wonderful person to work with. And so I told him that, that I have a podcast and I would love to be able to share my interaction with him. So I did make sure that was okay with him. But beautiful family. Brandon and his wife and everybody we met at the church were absolutely fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Fun road trip with Lee. I think we both have kind of some weird, quirky likes when it comes to cartoons and different genres of music and stuff. Not every road trip.
And Lee.
Yes.
Okay.
Not every road trip is fun with another comedian, especially if they play horrible music or they can't drive, and whatever. So
You've never let me drive.
yeah.
So not reaching the steering wheel and the pedals at the same
Michele,
time.
you can't even get up in my truck. We literally have to have a 6-foot ladder to get you up in the pickup truck. And my son took the step sides off. Like, yeah. So you really can't get in my truck now.
Yeah, and I don't want you dragging me behind again, so I'm not doing it. So my question now, so the guy that has his arms crossed, is that the pastor? No.
No, but you know what? Okay. I don't know how to describe it, but okay, let's see. I think you can see Micah, but in the picture, he's blurred in the background, but
good.
The closest point of reference is
your knee.
Let's say my knee. Yes, that's
the back of your knee.
The back of my knee. So yeah, that may be the blurred version of him back there. So yeah, they were great. And again, the gentleman and his wife who brought us in and let us stay at their place. They were just beyond accommodating. Lee had said, "You're going to love these people." Like Robert he's a master chef. Crazy. The dude makes he makes his own cheese and his own yogurt, and we had like a pork tenderloin that was awesome. But listen, this guy, okay, he took us to two businesses that he has, and they are in, hold on, in Missouri, but St. Charles. Yeah. I had a note so I would remember. Anyway, St. Charles, Missouri. One of the locations, he has like olive oils and vinegars. Ooh. We met this beautiful girl named Hannah who helped us with our orders. I got maple bourbon olive oil with bacon or this is the vinegar, I think. Yes. I got vinegar and olive oils. And then we went to a hot sauce shop. He owns a hot sauce shop. I got sriracha sea salt. Look at that. So yeah, I would say he said no one can pronounce the name of his store. And I'm going to prove that. It's De Olivas. I don't know. Olivas, like olives. De Olivas.
Yeah. It's from olives. That's what that is.
Yeah. So fantastic. If you are ever in St. Charles, go the downtown area
Charles
or the
Missouri?
main street, Missouri. Yeah. The main street is like brick streets and old brick buildings. And so we went there, we went to a soap shop, we went to a cookie place that sells like the day old cookies, and people were lined up in and out to get these bags of day old cookies where, they baked them yesterday. And so today, now you get them at half price and they sell them just in a big bag.
Okay.
Yes.
Enough with the food.
I know.
I'm so hungry now. But I'm just going to say that is a perfect segue with all the food items that you're talking about to this is you in front of tables. Did you eat here? Was there food here?
There was food there, but I can't eat before an event. But look at me. Okay, so this is Educate a Woman, and it was a fundraiser.
You match the tables.
Yes. It was a fundraiser called Educate a Woman. It raised money, college fund money for women, and so they had a delicious display of food and desserts in front of me, but I cannot eat beforehand. But man, the women, they were so kind. It was in Hendersonville, Tennessee, right behind the Huckabee. It was at the First Baptist there, and it was right behind the Huckabee show, this big church back there.
This one?
And so I got to speak, yes, with excitement. There's me at the Huckabee again, Michele. Thanks for.
Well, I just want to make sure that I got your first at the Educate a Woman, Huckabee. Sorry.
Yes, I was. So it was a fundraiser. Stop. Okay, for our listeners, Michele just keeps showing crazy-eyed pictures of me. So yeah, there's a stage, Educate a Woman. Volunteer State Community College is who raised funds for. Everyone's amazing there. The testimonies of how that program has helped women who have just found themselves in difficult situations, from having a child that had cancer to having cancer themselves, and the journey through their education was just, was not the easiest road. And this foundation is, helped a lot of those women along. So I was able to speak at that and make jokes about the fact that I had my associate's degree for 10 years and didn't even know it. So yes, I'm the ideal person to speak at a college fundraiser.
That's how you educate a woman. You get her in but you don't tell her.
You educate a woman. But yeah, I think that's the recap. And then I wanted to mention, I met this German man named Pete, who was 90 years old, who had a little shop in St. Charles. And Robert gave me a heads up that he was probably going to say something inappropriate, and he did. He questioned what my occupation was. We'll just say that much. And I told him I shouldn't be offended that he thought that, I could be a professional dancer. But at the same time, after 2 10-pound babies and I'm 47 years old, it was a bit of a compliment, Michelle. It was a bit of a compliment. But I bought a Peanuts mug. I thought you would love that.
Oh, I do love it.
Yep. And then I dropped it, and now it has a crack in the bottom, and I can't even drink out of it. I'm so sad. So
you can put peanuts in it. You can put other food items, M&Ms. You can put peanut M&Ms in there, because it's your peanut cup.
Yes.
I don't know why you don't have this cup. Just saying.
I do. I drink out of it. I drank out of it this morning. It's downstairs.
Oh.
So what Michelle is showing is the Christmas gift that she gave me and herself. Who does that? Who buys themselves the same gift that they buy? And it's our Laugh Support podcast, our mugs. And it has our logo on the front that Earl Music designed for us, that has the cartoons of myself and Michelle VanDusen. We love Earl Music. We love
Earl is an amazing cartoonist. He's a speaker, comedian. He's fantastic.
And I think you can find him on our first season of the Laugh Support podcast. Yes. And Rhonda Corey, who we talk about all the time, she was on our first season as well.
What? No way. Another Rhonda Corey moment.
Another Rhonda Corey moment.
Okay,
so I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say a Rhonda Corey moment. Rhonda did a dry bar, and Lee has done a dry bar.
Mm-hmm. That's his second.
That's his second one. Wow,
yeah.
That's so good. He's so good, so he deserves to have a second one. Yeah. It's exciting to see who we get to do comedy with, and who are friends, and how we get to rub elbows with and share the stage. And now you get to share a road trip with the hilarious Lee Hardin. So way to go, June.
It's
way
Hardin,
to go.
Michelle. Don't say Hardin. You said Hardin.
Hardin.
Did you?
I didn't do an ing.
Are you sure?
IN.
Okay.
Yeah, IN, right?
Okay.
IN.
That'd be a great way to end the episode, though, with you saying the wrong name. So,
Pastor Mark would approve, so it's okay.
Pastor yes. Mark. Well, okay. One final shout out to Micah, his 5 siblings, Pastor Mike, his whole family. A big thank you to Brandon, and it was a pleasure to meet his wife, Caitlin, and to Robert and Marcia for providing us, myself, Lee Hardin, an amazing trip to O'Fallon, and to Karen and everybody at Educate a Woman at the EAW event, Educate a Woman. It was a huge honor. And I love how comedy just takes us to so many wild and crazy places. Now, Michelle, in future episodes, we're going to be talking about you heading back to an open mic, seeing some open mic action. So y'all, you definitely want to catch future episodes of the Laugh Support podcast. We are in season 3. We're holding nothing back. Michelle's going to give us the inside scoop on open mic life. I can't wait to hear about it.
It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. Now, we do have some things coming up. So
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. About bounced out without.
Yeah, you about bounced out. So coming up May 26th, it's a Friday. June and Lee, where are you guys going to be?
Okay, I'm pointing. We are going to be in Fort Thomas, Kentucky at Village Players. I believe it's a theater there. It's Friday, May 26th. So you can go to Lee Hardin Comedy, I'm sure, and get your tickets there, or go to Village Players Fort Thomas and Google that, and you can get some tickets to go
Now
see
that's LeeHardin.
Yes.
DIN. Do not add a G to that.
No, and I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure I saw the tickets on the Village Players, like on their Facebook, or not Facebook, but their website. So this is weird. Me trying to look
Village Players Fort Thomas. All right, so then so that's on the 26th, and then on May 31st, you have this huge show with all of our friends. Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, so we are having a showcase at Oakland Baptist Church in Oakland, Kentucky, which is just a little suburb of Bowling Green, and it happens to be my home church. And so some folks who are coming through on the way to the Christian Comedy Association are going to stop off. We're going to do a comedy showcase. Doors open at 5:30. It's on a Wednesday night, May 31st. Doors open at 5:30. Show starts at 6 o'clock. It's just going to be rapid fire variety of comedians. And man, I'm super excited. So yes, if you're anywhere near Bowling Green, you want to come and check this show out for sure. There's one more, Michelle, that
wait. You got Christy Condor, Mike James, Dory McLemore, Brian Kahatsu, Rhonda Corey, June Colson. Is there anybody else joining you on that one?
We may have a surprise guest that jumps
plus more.
Yes, I'm working it out right now, but there's somebody who may be coming in, and I have not told her yet, but she will be coming on the stage when she gets here. So Leslie Rob.
Yep. And make sure that you guys attend that and that you have cash in your pockets, because a love offering will be taken. So let's bless the ones that are bringing you a blessing. All right. So here's our next show that you and I get to be a part of together.
Yes, ma'am.
This is June 2nd. Where's this happening?
All right, this is going to be held at the IMMI Conference Center. So this is just outside of Indianapolis, and it's popcorn
Franklin?
and punchlines.
Is it Franklin? Is it Franklin? Indiana?
No, it's not Franklin. No, it's not Franklin. It's just it's a suburb area of Indianapolis. Yeah, it's closer to I think Carmel. But yeah, look it up. It's IMMI Conference Center. And it's popcorn and punchlines. It's a free show. We are so excited to be back. Crossroads Church at Westfield is the one who sponsors this event. And we got to do the show together last year, Michelle. It was an amazing audience, wonderful group of people to work with, right?
Yes. So on this one, we've got Brian Kahatsu, Rhonda Corey, Michelle VanDusen, Leslie Robb, Dory McLemore, Mike James, Lee. I'm not going to say his last name because I messed it up last time. And then, of course, June. So we got an exciting and fun lineup for that event. And please come out to it because it is so much fun. So much fun. So I'm excited about this upcoming summer. And that show is happening just a couple of days prior to the Christian Comedy Association conference. The retreat, which happens to be June 5th, 6th, 7th.
Yes.
And if you haven't signed up for that, if you're a comedian and a Christian, come on out. And it's an opportunity to connect and reflect and grow in God and in your comedy. So it's a wonderful thing. And if you can't make that, then check out the LOLGCA conference, October, right? Tell us a little bit about this
5th,
one.
6th and 7th, Triangle, Virginia. Yes, it's the LOLGCA conference. So there's the CCA conference coming up in June, and in October, it's another Christian comedy conference. I attend both of them. Love it. Yeah. So you get to one of them, folks. Yes. If you're a Christian comedian, if you use Christian comedy in your ministry, this is, that's the place to be. Now, Michelle, I know that you like to close out with a joke, but we actually have a joke submission from a loyal listener that sent to me. Yeah.
If I haven't previewed it, I don't know if we can use it.
Well, I'm going to ask you. Hey, Michele, this listener wants to know, what do you get when you pick a hog's nose?
What do you get when you pick a hog's nose?
A hog's nose. You get hamburgers.
Oh.
Yes, they followed it up with, I know, it's not funny. It's not funny, Michele.
Oh,
So that was from our loyal listener, Leslie Gaddis. From Indiana. So thanks, Leslie, for the submission of the joke. Hey, y'all, if you want to submit a joke to us, check us out on all our social media podcasts. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and on Facebook. And guys, obviously, you're either watching or you're listening. So if you are watching us, we know that you are watching us on Vimeo or YouTube. And listen, you can listen to us on all of the major podcast platforms.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to interject here. There's a slight change. You can watch us on our YouTube channel at Laugh Support Podcast. That's it. There is no more Vimeo. There's no.
Is there no more Vimeo? Okay.
No.
So you can watch us on YouTube and you can listen to us on all major podcast platforms.
There you go.
There you go. That's it.
And you can send us some submissions if you want. thelaughsup@gmail.com. So if you want to do that, you may send us some jokes, your dad jokes, mom jokes, funny jokes, not so funny jokes, because we will try to close it out every time. Oh, that was not funny at all, but it's okay.
Not funny.
But we love her.
Again, Leslie Gaddis. Thanks again, Leslie Gaddis. All right, Michele, that's it for this, man. We haven't talked in a while, so this is a long episode. We're going to close it out. You heard a lot from me this time, so next episode, let's talk about you, VanDusen. Let's talk about you. All right, you guys, as I always say, Jesus and Junebug loves you. And Michele, what do you got for us?
I was going to say, what's the most common procedure in a Lego hospital?
A Lego hospital.
Plastic surgery. What? Thanks for listening. Tune in next time. We love you.